That, my friends, is a self-driving car, and it's estimated that there could be as many as 10 million of these bad boys on the road by 2020. With that said, we have more questions than we have answers. Like, will people actually feel safe riding in these cars? Do they solve any real problems? And are they the future or just a novelty? He's Ryan, and I'm James. Together, we're the marketing twins. We work in the fast-paced digital marketing world. In order to be successful in our industry, curiosity is key. That's what the show is all about. We created a list of topics we wanted to learn more about, and in each episode of this series, we'll take you along for the ride on our journey of discovery. This is Two Curious Minds. Imagine this. You call for an Uber to come pick you up, and when it gets there, there's no driver. Well, that would be because it's a self-driving car. What would you do? I'm not sure, but I do know that this situation could be a reality sooner than we think, especially when you consider that last year, Uber started testing their own self-driving cars in the city of Pittsburgh. Being the two curious minds that we are, we decided to pack our bags and head to the Still City to see these cars for ourselves. Let me set the scene for you. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's the city of bridges with over 445 connecting the city over 3 rivers. It's also home to pop artist Andy Warhol and 6-time champion Pittsburgh Steelers. After the steel industry collapsed in the early 80s, this steel city has struggled to find a new identity. That's where our story picks up. Pittsburgh has always been known as a blue-collar, no-frills town. But a new focus on technology is driving the Steel City into the future. Companies like Disney, Google, Intel, Apple, and of course Uber have all been attracted to Western Pennsylvania. Armed with a camera and a microphone, we hit the streets. We roamed the city for less than 15 minutes before we found our first self-driving Uber. As you can see, I got pretty excited. We found Ubers just like this one, cruising all over the city, picking people up and dropping them off like it was no big deal. Most people would certainly agree that what these highly intelligent cars are doing is nothing short of amazing. But why they're doing it is a little less clear. In a recent AAA survey, 3 out of 4 Americans said they were afraid to ride in a self-driving car. Yet this hasn't stopped car companies and Uber from spending billions of dollars in the race to be first to market. We did some research and determined there were 3 key benefits. Uber's biggest expense last year was the drivers themselves. Fully autonomous cars can communicate with one another and make our commutes more efficient. And last, but certainly not least, self-driving cars would theoretically make our roads safer. In an effort to understand why people are so skeptical of self-driving cars, we decided to run an informal focus group with the people of Pittsburgh. How do you feel about self-driving cars?
I wouldn't feel safe. I wouldn't feel safe personally.
I think the technology is not there all the way.
My concern would be that it would crash into something.
I mean, I've never ridden in one, but I think they're pretty cool.
I would have doubts. I would be a little concerned about the fact that I can't really help my driver if he's driving terribly because there's no one there.
No surprise, the people we talked to supported our research. So we asked, why?
I think some older people, like myself, may be afraid of technology because, well, we didn't have it growing up. And the younger people, maybe not.
If somebody else is driving recklessly, I'd be a little nervous if the car doesn't know how to maneuver itself.
Losing control, so just the car taking over and getting in an accident.
It's hard to give up control. It creates anxiety.
Humans don't like giving up control, but control doesn't exactly equal safety.
Last year, there were 1 million deaths caused by car accidents, and 90% of those were caused by human error.
The safest form of travel involves the least amount of human interaction. 90% of your last flight was controlled by autopilot.
More and more people will start to see that this isn't just some crazy science fiction thing out of Star Trek that we don't know what's going to happen with it. It's something that's actually doable, it's realistic, and it's safe.
I believe, like anything new that hits the market, over time, people will become used to it and they'll embrace it. But it's going to take a little time.
Our time in Pittsburgh had come to an end. As the sun set on the Steel City, it was time for us to head home.
What do you think? Are self-driving cars the future of transportation? Yeah, I don't know. One thing that came up a lot during our investigation was safety. And it's interesting to think about how many people get in accidents because they're looking at Facebook or Instagram. So when you think about it, these cars could really help save lives. Totally agree. And I thought it was interesting how the automotive industry is changing. And in big cities like Pittsburgh, it's gonna be about having access to a car rather than owning a car. And that's where companies like Uber and other car companies can benefit from investing in this self-driving car technology. All right, so here's the question. Can we cross self-driving cars off the list? I don't know. I don't think so, not yet. I think that as the automotive industry continues to evolve, it'll be interesting to see how self-driving cars play into that. Yeah, I agree. It's gonna be interesting to see how it plays out. But until next time, I'm Ryan, he's James, and this has been Two Curious Minds. We'll see you in the future.
Thanks for watching this episode of Two Curious Minds. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. Every bit helps. And while you're here, let us know what you think about self-driving cars in the comments below. If you want to explore more stories by the Fratzke brothers, check out other episodes of Two Curious Minds or start binge listening to our podcast. Until next time, we've been the Fratzke brothers, and you have been awesome.